The City of Worcester presents Nichole Online.
Brought to you by the Division of Youth Opportunities.
This week for academics.
Hello students, my name is Denzel and today's lesson is going to be a crash course in urban planning. By the end of this video, you will know what urbanization is, be able to identify the 5 main aspects of urbanization, and understand why diversity and inclusion is important in urban planning. So before we begin talking about urban planning, we must first understand what it means for something to be urban. What are some of the things you think about when you hear the word urban? Well, within this context, the word urban means anything that has to do with the city or town. Oftentimes, urban areas are places with large, diverse populations, a numerous amount of human structures, and oftentimes has non-agricultural based jobs. Can you name any urban areas based off of these criteria? An example would be Worcester. Based off that criteria, Worcester is a city with diverse populations. There's a large Latinx crowd, a large African crowd, a large African American population, a large Caribbean population, and it's just like all mixed into like one giant city. And in terms of there being numerous amount of human structures, if you think of the Central District, which is located in downtown Worcester, there's just a lot of diverse types of buildings. You have office buildings, you have storefronts, you have restaurants, you have boutiques, just like a wide, vast variety of types of buildings. And then as you veer out of the Central District, there's also residential housing, there's apartment complexes. And if you think about the types of jobs that are available in Worcester, there is a vast variety of jobs available in Worcester, but not that many are agriculture based. This brings us to our next topic, which is urbanization. Can you guess what urbanization means? If you guess correctly, urbanization is the process in which a rural area or small town becomes urbanized or more developed. Can you think of any small towns or cities that you've noticed going through this process of urbanization? An example would be New York City, the Big Apple as they call it. It wasn't always the Big Apple. It originally started off as just empty lots, plain fields with nothing really there. And over time, as people populated it and job opportunities sprouted up in that area, it became more densely populated, which means a large amount of people living in a small area, which forced them to have to build all these different types of human structures, including apartments and high-rises, eventually became the New York City that you know and love today. Urbanization is something that still currently occurs in our world today. Not everyone lives in an urban setting or in a city setting. Over half the world population currently lives in an urban area, and that number is only projected to increase as time goes on and the population increases as well. So by the time you guys are in your, I want to say mid-20s, take a look at Worcester and compare it to what it looks like now and what it looked like 30 years ago and what it looked like 40 years ago and what it looked like even 100 years from this point. And you'll see the process of urbanization happening as time progresses on and on. So now that we've gone over what the word urban means and what urbanization is, it's time for a quick review. So remember, the word urban applies to anything that has to do with a city or town. And the word urbanization refers to the process in which an area experiences urban development. Thanks for watching, and now to Nichole with the next segment.
Hi, now we're going to go over the 5 main factors of urbanization. First up, we have buildings. Can you guys think of any buildings you might know pretty well? Maybe you thought of your house, or maybe you thought of your school. Those are great examples. Next up, we have public space. Public space is an area where anyone can go. It doesn't matter how you look, how you talk. Everyone and anyone is able to go there. A good example of that is your local park. Next up, we have transportation. Transportation in urban areas consists of things like airports for planes, ports for boats, and railroads for trains. Second to last, we have green space. Green space is an area set aside for something like a family gathering or a sporting event, or maybe just a cool place to ride your bike. All of those are great examples of green spaces. Have you ever been to a green space? Last, we have complete streets. Complete streets is the idea that anyone, regardless of if you're running or walking or riding your bike or riding in a car or bus, is able to travel on the streets safely, effectively, and conveniently. Can you guys think of anything that's maybe made it easier for people to travel and made it safer? Maybe you thought of sidewalks or crosswalks or bike lanes or stoplights. All of those are great examples of things that contribute to complete streets.
Hi, now let's talk about the importance of diversity and inclusion in urban planning. Diversity refers to the traits and characteristics that make people unique, and it also recognizes our individual differences. These differences can be in race, gender, culture, age, physical abilities, and religious beliefs. I'm very sure you all have friends in your community and your schools that are of different races, ages, and cultures, don't you? Inclusion, on the other hand, are the behaviors and social norms that make sure all people feel welcome. An example of inclusion can be thinking of ways that wheelchair users and the disabled can participate in the Olympics, just like the Paralympics. Another example can be everyone in your English class being able to contribute amazing ideas to the group project, or also having gender-friendly bathrooms. It's very important that as in the world that we live today, like in the United States, has become a melting pot. And if you don't know what that means, a melting pot is a metaphor for society where so many different types of people of different races, cultures, and backgrounds live in the same environment, which can be in a city or a town. For instance, the city of Worcester can be classified as a melting pot because it's one of the most diverse cities in Massachusetts, with people from all over the world of different cultures, races, and backgrounds. Now, this brings me to my main topic of discussion, the importance of diversity and inclusion in urban planning. It's important to have all these different people, as we've talked about, included when planning how to build a community. City planners should ensure that everyone's needs are catered to and respected so that vulnerable groups are not excluded from the community, like the disabled, the homeless, minority groups, and even children. Can you guys imagine a city without playgrounds for children to play within? Like, that would be so disappointing. A diverse and inclusive environment is where the design of the city or the town also takes the well-being and mental health of its community into account, and also encourages socializing. A diverse and inclusive environment should also be flexible, and it can look like a place with safe and accessible public spaces, affordable transportation, walkable neighborhoods, accessibility for people with disabilities, gender-neutral public toilets, and play spaces for children. And now to conclude, can you guys think of what a diverse and inclusive environment in your city or town might look like? Bye.
You can use things that you can find around the house. Maybe it's taking a look at your recycle bin, looking at old cereal boxes or pasta boxes, some old water bottles that you could potentially wash out and cut up and use as well. Maybe it's going outside and looking for some twigs or leaves. And if you do have plenty of arts and crafts supplies, you could use construction paper, popsicle sticks, lots of glue probably, rubber bands, things of that sort. We'd love to see the urban designs you've all created. Please feel free to text them to us at 774-366-5103 or email them to us at calixtov@worcesterma.gov. That's CALIXTOV at worcesterma.gov.
Hello, Worcester. My name is Raquel Castro Corzini, and I'm the Director of the Division of Youth Opportunities for the City of Worcester. In order for us to post photos or videos of your creations and activities, we need a parent or guardian to submit a photo release form found on the Recreation Worcester webpage on the city's website, www.worcesterma.gov/recreationworcester, or email calixtov@worcesterma.gov for a copy. Photo releases are meant to protect your family's privacy. You can still submit your work, and we will edit out any faces that do not include a photo release. You only have to fill out the form once and can change your mind at any time. Just contact us with any changes, and we will update our permissions. We look forward to all the exciting activities and projects that we're going to receive. Thank you, and stay safe.
Thanks for tuning in.
This episode was brought to you by the Division of Youth Opportunities.
See you next time.